Hi guys, welcome back to Introduction to Maps in R, Shiny and Leaflet. In this video, we'll be installing RStudio, the R programming language, as well as the third-party packages that we'll be needing to build our application. So let's open up our web browser and then let's navigate to the R project. So we just say download R. Okay, and then we click on the first link. As you can see, the latest version of R for Windows at this time is version 3.6. So we click on that and then we download it. So I've already downloaded mine and installed it, so I'll cancel this. And then we open up a new tab, and now we are going to navigate to RStudio. We say RStudio download. And then we click on the first link. So now we are at rstudio.com on the downloads page, and then we are going to download RStudio Desktop, the free version. Okay, and then we click on the RStudio for Windows 7 Plus 64-bit, or because I've had some technical difficulties with this version, so I've downloaded an older version. If you want to download an older version, we go to the older version of RStudio link. And then you choose your older distribution of R. So I've installed this one, 1.0.153, and then we click on installer for Windows. So I'll cancel that. Okay, so once you have installed R and RStudio, you open up RStudio and you should see a clean page with untitled. So the next thing that we'll be doing is we will first install our third-party packages that we'll need to build our application. So we open up the console. Actually, what you should see is just the console. Then click on the plus sign for a new R script, and then you will see this page. And then the R console will be minimized below. Right, so let's go back to the R console. Control L to clear the console. Okay, so the first package that we'll install is Shiny Dashboard. So by default, Shiny should already be installed. If we say File, New File, and then Shiny Web App. If you see this, then you know that Shiny is already installed. But in case it isn't, we say install.packages, and then in quotation marks we'll say Shiny, right? And then the next package that we'll need to install is the Shiny Dashboard. Right, so I've already installed this. I don't know if it's going to try to install it again. Okay, and then the next package that we'll install is the Leaflet library. So it's install.packages leaflet. Okay, so I've already installed this, so I'll just cancel. And then let's clear that, I don't like it. The next library that we'll install is Leaflet.extras. So it's install.packages Leaflet.extras. So this library just contains a few extra additional libraries, like for instance, if we want to create a heat map, which I'm not sure exists in the primary Leaflet library, then this will allow us to create a heat map or any other additional third-party library that's not contained in the leaflet library by default. Okay, so it's leaflet.extras. And then the next package that we'll need to install is rgdal. So this allows us to read in shapefiles. Okay. And then the next library that we need to install is SP. And then the next library, which is the last one that we need to install, is raster, which allows us to work with image data. Okay, and that's it. Once you have installed all those libraries, we can go back to the source view, right? And then we can start to build the structure of our application, which in other words is called the application skeleton. So let's first import the libraries that we'll need. So we'll import Shiny because this will be a Shiny application. And then we import Shiny dashboard. And then we import Leaflet. And then we import Leaflet Extras. And then we import rgdal. And then we import SP. And then we import library raster. Okay, so now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to add the code section for our user interface, which is called UI. So what we are going to do is we are going to write all the code in one file, but typically what you would do is you'd create a separate UI file with all your UI code, and then you create a separate server file with all your backend code, right? But in this case, we are going to write all the code in one page, okay, or one file. So it's UI dashboard page. So we create a new dashboard page. In the dashboard page, we need a dashboard header. And then we add a dashboard sidebar. And a dashboard body. Okay, so that is the UI code to create an empty dashboard. We need the header, the sidebar, and the body. So we create a new dashboard page. And then we add a section for our server-side code, which is our backend code for our application. So the UI contains the code that has to do with what we can see, the user interface, and the code that runs behind is added in the server section, which is called the backend code. So it's function, we pass the input, the output, and a session. We leave that clean for now. And then we add a Shiny app. Right, so we create an instance of a Shiny app, and then we pass that instance a UI and server. So we pass the UI code and the server code into the new Shiny app instance. So this should be enough to create a structure of our application. So we Control S to save, and we can just save this in the directory of your choice. I'll just save it in my documents. I'll name it application, or just R application. Once that is done, we should now be able to run our application. So there are multiple options for debugging your application or running it. You can either run it in a window or run it on a browser. So I'm going to run mine in the browser with run external, because that way you can see how all the JavaScript code and the CSS code will look like. In the Windows app, you can't load all of the JavaScript and CSS code. However, if you run the program in a web browser, then it can load all the JavaScript and CSS files. So we say run external, and then we click on run app. So if all our libraries are installed properly, we should be able to see a clear dashboard without anything added, right? So we have our sidebar, which we can minimize and then add again. We have our header, which is the blue, and then we have our dashboard body, right? So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.